The underlying cause of this sister wives star's continual conflicts with Janelle, Christine, and Kody is noteworthy. Sister Wives is distinguished for its volatile relationships, especially with one cast member who finds it challenging to coexist with the others. The acclaimed reality television series debuted in 2010, centering on the life of Kody Brown and his three spouses, Meri, Janelle, and Christine Brown. The inaugural season of Sister Wives emphasized Kody's courting of his fourth wife, Robyn Brown, during which he invested considerable effort into this new union. His commitment to his fourth wife led to feelings of neglect and jealousy among his other spouses. Over time, Kody's fixation on Robyn intensified, leading to a split between him and his first three wives, Meri, Janelle, and Christine. Each wife in the family managed the strain of their deteriorating marriage uniquely. Meri was most notable when she unwittingly developed feelings for someone she encountered on social media, who ultimately proved to be a catfish. Ultimately, in 2023, she summoned the strength to terminate her connection with Kody after years of silence. Meri made the audacious choice to abandon Flagstaff, Arizona, and devote her life to traveling and operating her own bed and breakfast in Utah. In recent months, Meri has evolved into a self-assured individual, founding her own enterprise, Worthy Up, and re-entering the dating arena. Multiple factors contributed to her conflicts with family members, primarily her tendency to permit others to exploit her. She maintained a submissive demeanor, which other family members exploited until the conclusion. Whether it was Kody, who endeavored to persuade Meri that she warranted the least share of the Coyote Pass property, or Christine, who scrutinized Meri's cosmetic selections, each member of the Brown family sought to assert their superiority over her. Concurrently, Meri adopted a submissive demeanor, frequently resulting in suppressed rage that expressed itself through alternative means. This is exemplified in her relationship with Kody. Meri frequently extended Kody the presumption of innocence, while he maintained her presence through ambiguous gestures. Her failure to articulate her concerns led to her enduring a passionless marriage for decades. Meri has continued to struggle in establishing a robust relationship with Janelle and Christine, a situation that persists in 2025. Meri had a lack of joy at Christine's wedding to David Woolley, suggesting persistent passive-aggressive conduct towards her former sister wives. Meri has experienced disputes with multiple family members previously concerning both the Coyote Pass property and her choice to dress up early in the day. A few years prior, Christine recounted the incident in which Kody melted Meri's ring, prompting Meri to express her anger and publicly admonish Christine for divulging a narrative she felt was not hers to share. Meri seems to retain animosity from previous events, resulting in continual conflicts with her former family members in unforeseen manners. Her conduct indicates that she is not a villain like Kody, but rather a victim of circumstances that have hindered her ability to connect with the majority of her family. She maintains proximity to only a select few of the Brown family's offspring, while others have criticized her parenting abilities. Her prolonged endeavor to sustain her relationship with Kody has incited disputes with Janelle and Christine. Her unwavering effort to salvage her marriage ultimately alienated Kody. Ultimately, the Sister Wives actress succeeded only in establishing a friendship with Robyn, yet even that camaraderie dissipated following her separation from Kody. Nonetheless, Meri sat on the rear porch of her modest Flagstaff residence, a cup of tepid coffee in her hands, gazing vacantly at the golden Arizona sunset. The distant mountains were serene, an emotion her heart had not experienced in a considerable duration. Following months of silence and conjecture, Meri Brown has ultimately chosen to articulate her thoughts. Her revelation manifested not as rage, but as a subdued, poignant truth. "I perceive myself as the other woman," she stated quietly, her voice faltering. "In a marriage in which I was the primary spouse." The dynamics began to change upon Robyn's arrival in the family. Meri had embraced her, even assisted in her integration. However, with the passage of time, a transformation occurred. Kody grew aloof. His focus increasingly shifted towards Robyn. The other wives, Christine and Janelle, had observed it as well, but none had experienced the pain as profoundly as Meri. During a private interview for a special edition of Sister Wives, Tell All, Mary revealed her thoughts more candidly than ever. "I believe Kody no longer perceives me," she confessed. Upon entering a room, he appears to have predetermined who holds significance, and I am not among them. Mary stated that Robyn and Kody's relationship had evolved more like a monogamous marriage within a polygamous household. While the other spouses managed job, childcare, and emotional autonomy, Robyn appeared to be the focal point of Kody's emotional universe. Mary disclosed that there were nights he did not return to her residence for weeks. Upon his arrival, it resembled an encounter with a distant relative, ceremonious, courteous, and aloof. She recounted a poignant narrative. One evening, she prepared his preferred dish and illuminated candles, attempting to revive a semblance of the affection they formerly enjoyed. Kody failed to appear. "He messaged me 2 days later, stating he had forgotten," she remarked with a melancholic smile. Mary discussed the absurdity of being the inaugural wife, the individual who contributed to the family's foundation, yet now perceives herself as a mere shadow within her own residence. "I have dedicated years to defending Kody, rationalizing his conduct, and persuading myself that it was merely a phase. However, it is not a phase, it is a pattern." Mary acknowledged her difficulties with envy, embarrassment, and resentment. However, most all, she experienced a profound sense of invisibility. "Robyn embodies the role of the wife, while I represent a bygone memory." In a distinct interview, Robyn was inquired about Mary's remarks. Her reply was circumspect. "I never intended to be the cause of any suffering," Robyn stated with tears in her eyes. However, Kody exercises his autonomy in decision-making. "I cannot dictate whom he loves more." Upon being inquired about her belief in Mary's future inside the family, Robyn paused before responding. "That depends on Kody and Mary." Kody spoke candidly as he entered the discussion. "I cannot feign affection," he stated candidly. "Circumstances evolve. I have affection for Mary, yet I refuse to perpetuate a falsehood for the sake of television or convention." That declaration reverberated across the fanbase and appeared to definitively conclude the emotional separation between Mary and Kody. Mary alluded to an impending new phase. "I have invested considerable effort in attempting to maintain the cohesion of this family," she stated. "Perhaps it is time to prioritize myself. Perhaps I am not merely the other woman. Perhaps I am simply the woman I must become." Mary's bed and breakfast enterprise is flourishing, and with an expanding support network beyond the Brown family, she may be poised to embrace her independence. As the camera receded from her porch, she gazed at the descending sun and murmured, "I was never intended to be an afterthought." Mary Brown may have finally ceased her prolonged anticipation. Nonetheless, it was a brisk fall morning in Flagstaff, and a gentle breeze stirred the orange and yellow leaves strewn across the front yard. The old house, previously the residence of the Brown family during their early years in Flagstaff, remained still and motionless, resembling a neglected memory awaiting recollection. Mary positioned herself at the driveway's edge, her hands tucked into the pockets of her olive green jacket. She had not returned here in years, not since the deterioration of the relationships among the spouses and the subsequent disintegration of Kody's connections, one after another. "It appears diminutive compared to my recollection," she whispered, partly to herself and partly to the wind. Christine, who had accompanied her in the automobile, exited the vehicle, her gaze surveying the recognizable porch. "This is due to our growth, Mary. We are no longer the same women." The proposal was straightforward. Janelle had contacted the other sister wives, including Robyn, to urge a collective return to the former residence, albeit for a single occasion. Absence of cameras, absence of pressure. Only closure. Initially hesitant, Robyn acquiesced. Kody was not extended an invitation. The women stood adjacent in the untamed front yard, and the quiet between them was not awkward. It was contemplative. "Recall when we planted that tree for Solomon?" Janelle inquired, gesturing towards the scraggly pine that now leaned askew at the side fence. Christine smiled gently. He attempted to suspend a swing from it despite its insufficient strength. Kody instructed him to wait, although Sol persisted in his attempts nonetheless. "That tree appears to be making an effort as well," Mary remarked. They ascended the porch stairs in unison. The property was abandoned, including boarded windows and a locked door. Nevertheless, Janelle had obtained temporary access from the new owner, who intended to rebuild. Upon the key's insertion into the lock, an almost reverential silence surrounded them. Internally, the ambience resembled a time capsule. The now faded painted walls still exhibited the silhouettes of former family photographs. The kitchen's tiled floor retained a singular fissure that frequently caused individuals to stumble. The living room resonated with distant recollections of laughing, fervent discussions, cinematic evenings, and family gatherings that frequently concluded in tears. Christine remained near the hearth. "This is the moment I informed Kody that I could no longer continue. I had to select happiness, even if it required departing. And you accomplished that," Mary stated softly. "You were the inaugural one to go. I experienced envy towards that." "I was also frightened," Christine admitted, her tone soft. "However, you exhibited courage in your own manner, Mary. You remained. You made an effort." Janelle reclined on the soiled couch, her hands clasped in her lap. "Each of us confronted our individual struggles. This residence, this phase, has fortified us." Robyn had remained silent since their arrival. She ultimately advanced, her eyes glistening. "I apologize," she stated, her voice trembling, "for the pain I inflicted. To become a barrier separating you all from Kody. That was never my objective." Mary saw her not with ire, but with weary empathy. "Each of us made decisions, Robyn. Some positive, some negative. What is significant today is our presence here together." They devoted the subsequent hour to traversing the rooms, exchanging recollections, some sorrowful, others jubilant. In the upper corridor, Christine discovered the location where Truly had previously illustrated on the wall with markers. The muted colors remained subtly discernible. They did not remove it. Prior to their departure, Janelle took a little notebook from her bag. She had brought it for everyone to inscribe a final note, a farewell to the house and that chapter of their life. Each woman inscribed silently, pens gliding over paper like hushed murmurs. Christine stated, "This was the location where I rediscovered myself. Mary, this residence encapsulated my sorrow and my recovery. Janelle, we became estranged, yet we also matured in this place. Robyn, I aspire for the forthcoming family to imbue this residence with superior decisions and more profound affection." Upon closing the door, the sun commenced its descent, illuminating the aged wooden panels with a golden hue. They did not glance back. It was unnecessary for them to do so. The home had already bid farewell. Nonetheless, the twilight in Flagstaff was magnificent. The sun descended behind the mountains, illuminating the sky with amber and purple tones. The Brown family convened at the elongated wooden table in the backyard of Kody and Robyn's residence. A family conference was convened to determine the future of their living arrangements. Kody rose, his hands in his pockets, and cleared his throat. "I have been contemplating, perhaps it is time we deliberate on constructing a single large residence, once more. Single shelter. Each one of us. Similar to the initial proposal." A hush descended upon the assembly. Christine's expression hardened. She reclined in her chair, arms folded, gaze fixed on the horizon. She had previously encountered this notion, and had also suppressed it before. Mary was the initial respondent, stating, "It would restore a sense of unity. We are currently very estranged." Robyn stated, "The children would appreciate increased opportunities to interact. Moreover, it is more economical than acquiring 4 distinct residences." However, Christine had reached her limit of tolerance. She rose gradually, each movement intentional. The breeze gently tugged at her blonde hair. "I will speak candidly," she stated, her voice unwavering yet resolute. "I prefer not to cohabitate with the other spouses." Kody furrowed his brow, perplexed. "Christine, I presumed—" "No," she interjected, raising her hand. "Kody, you wished to replicate an endeavor that was unsuccessful for me before. During our previous cohabitation, I experienced a sense of insignificance. Imperceptible. I feel like an intruder in my own residence. I require solitude, autonomy, and tranquility. Janelle appeared astonished. However, circumstances have changed now. Christine declined with a shake of her head. Distinct. I observe Robyn occupying all your time. Mary continues to perceive herself as a specter within this marriage. Janelle, you have consistently demonstrated strength, yet you acknowledge that the equilibrium is disrupted. Why would I return to a circumstance that has caused me harm? Robyn appeared distressed. Christine, that is unjust. We are capable of transformation. We can achieve success. I am confident that you desire to, Christine stated softly. However, I have undergone transformation. I am no longer the lady who sacrifices her happiness for the comfort of others. I desire autonomy, independence, and self-determination. Kody advanced. Are you indicating a negative response? Is it truly that simple? Christine gazed into his eyes. Affirmative. I have reached my conclusion. I will provide help to the family remotely. I will cherish the children and attend their birthdays and holidays. However, I refuse to reside in a dwelling where I do not experience love, respect, or acknowledgement. A silence enveloped the assembly. The wind appeared to halt. Kody briefly appeared inclined to dispute. However, an element in Christine's tone, her composed assurance, compelled him to halt. This was not insurrection. It constituted a resolution. Later that evening, as Christine returned to her rented residence on the outskirts of town, she lowered the window and inhaled deeply. After years, the atmosphere felt light for the first time. It resembled liberation. Christine recognized that this marked the inception of an improved circumstance. Nevertheless, on the arid periphery of Flagstaff, Arizona, resided Lillian Marsh, a dedicated mother of 3 and a midwife renowned for her serene demeanor and therapeutic skills. She endured a challenging marriage that concluded in subdued heartbreak. Her spouse, a former clergyman, departed following a prolonged conflict on faith, commitment, and identity. For years, Lillian independently nurtured her children, her heart both bruised and resilient. On a summer afternoon, while aiding in a home birth, Lillian encountered Rebecca, a kind and vivacious woman who acquainted her with the United Families Fellowship, a community that engaged in contemporary polygamy founded on profound spiritual convictions and emotional solidarity among sister spouses. Lillian was initially dubious. She had witnessed the pain of love and the manner in which men might exert control under the pretense of faith. However, Rebecca was distinct. She exhibited confidence, excitement, and a sense of fulfillment. Lillian, intrigued, accepted an invitation to dine with Rebecca's family. There, she encountered Elias Dalton, the spouse of Rebecca. Elias did not meet her expectations. He engaged in active listening rather than speaking, posing inquiries instead of providing solutions. He did not issue commands. He engaged in collaboration. The family comprised 3 wives, Rebecca, Tasha, and Marielle. Each had her own chamber, duties, and perspective. They nurtured their offspring collectively, made familial decisions collaboratively, and most significantly, supported one another as pillars of a temple. Lillian started visiting more frequently, not for Elias but for the women. After years, she laughed unreservedly for the first time. She prepared meals alongside Tasha, cultivated the garden with Marielle, and engaged in prayer with Rebecca. Her youngsters engaged in play within a residence that resonated with warmth and laughter. Upon one child sustaining a knee abrasion, her mothers hastened to assist. The issue persisted. Could she ever place her trust in a guy again? Elias approached her cautiously, not as a seeker, but as a companion. "We do not endorse coercing affection," he stated one evening on the porch. "This existence is a decision, not a means of evasion." Months elapsed. Lillian offered a prayer. She conversed with her children, who had by that time developed affection for the larger family. On a tranquil winter morning, as snow softly descended upon the pine trees, Lillian addressed the village and declared her intention to become the fourth bride of the Dalton family. It was not for Elias, despite her growing affection for him. It was not for security, yet she discovered it there. It was for the sisterhood, for the communal tie, for the healing she perceived in a life that was shared rather than fragmented. The expedition proved arduous. Individuals beyond their neighborhood engaged in hushed conversations. Her parents declined to communicate with her. Within their residence, there existed no judgment, simply collective motherhood, mutual responsibilities, and shared happiness. She rediscovered herself in the gaze of other women who embraced love according to their own criteria. Years later, at a family reunion recorded by a reality television crew influenced by sister wives, Lillian addressed the camera. Individuals believe we opt for polygamy due to feelings of confusion, desperation, or indoctrination. I selected this existence because it salvaged me. I selected it for my children, who now possess 3 other mothers willing to sacrifice for them. I selected it because healing often originates from unexpected sources. As she smiled, the other spouses laid their hands upon hers, joined not merely by faith or family, but by a choice comprehensible solely to them. Nonetheless, the Arizona sun was setting, illuminating the desert skyline with a warm amber hue. Mary sat silently on the front porch of her newly rented modest 2-bedroom cottage after her long-awaited relocation. Her fingers delicately outlined the rim of the mug she held, the steam from the herbal tea ascending into the air like faint echoes of the past. "I placed my trust in him," she whispered, the words imbued with a sense of bitterness and familiarity. 2 months had elapsed since the last conversation with Kody. 2 months have elapsed since she recognized that the man she had previously selected as her spiritual partner no longer regarded her as his wife, neither emotionally, spiritually, nor respectfully. Mary had clung to the concept of family for years, despite the deteriorating foundation. She was the inaugural spouse, the individual who contributed to the construction of their entire life together, the offspring, the collective aspirations, the tenets of multiple marriage. She held a profound conviction in the solidarity of sisters and the vision they once collectively embraced. Robyn's presence infused Kody's life with renewed vitality and affection. Christine's laughter diminished. Janelle immersed herself in her work and autonomy, while Mary began to vanish. Not in a literal sense, but in an emotional context. Kody ceased all contact with her. Avoid eye contact throughout meals. There were no calls during her travels. No genuine affection, only superficial displays. Subsequently, the treachery ensued. The matter extended beyond Robyn. The ache had gradually diminished in intensity over time. The genuine betrayal occurred when Kody confronted her, arms crossed, and said that her role in the family had become merely symbolic. As if years of dedication and loyalty could be diminished to a meaningless label. Mary had murmured tearfully, "I placed my trust in you." Kody's response was frigid. "I did not request that of you." That moment devastated her. Mary observed the emergence of stars from the porch. Individually, resembling little beacons of optimism in an otherwise somber firmament. She commenced therapy, resumed writing, established a little internet store for handcrafted decor, an ambition she had long harbored but never had the emotional capacity to pursue. She re-established connections with former acquaintances and joined a women's hiking group in Flagstaff. One evening, she received a message from Janelle. "I am contemplating you. I acknowledge your existence. I have faith in you." On another occasion, Christine visited with cinnamon buns and an unanticipated embrace. Months later, Robyn also sent her a note, an authentic, handwritten document. It stated, "I apologize for my role in your suffering. I never intended for this to occur as it did." Mary remained unresponsive. Not at this time. Perhaps never. However, the apology was significant. What about Kody? He attempted to make a call once. She permitted it to ring. She no longer required closure from him. The resolution sprang internally, from the fortitude she discovered upon recognizing that a breach of trust did not determine her value. She was no longer merely the first wife. She had become Mary, a woman who endured emotional turmoil, yet opted to depart with dignity. Upon rising and retreating within, the wind conveyed her murmured utterances into the night. I placed my trust in him. And now I have confidence in myself. Nonetheless, on a tranquil Wednesday morning in Flagstaff, the newspapers were delivered. Mary Brown stood at her threshold, grasping the envelope with quivering fingers. She was already aware of its contents. The final decree. The divorce was finalized. Following decades of emotional turmoil, separations, reconciliations, and unspoken suffering, her marriage to Kody Brown has reached a definitive legal conclusion. Within the house, quiet enveloped the atmosphere like a mist. Mary seated herself on the couch and gradually opened the package. The words gazed back at her. This court hereby terminates the spiritual union between Mary Brown and Kody Brown. She inhaled, anticipating tears, yet none remained. Conversely, she experienced an unexpected sensation, relief. After years of perceiving herself as the neglected spouse and an alien within her own home, Mary had ultimately attained liberation. Concurrently, at Robyn's residence, Robyn accessed the news online prior to Kody informing her. A headline on a tabloid website proclaimed, Robyn faced Kody, who was pacing the room, attempting to appear uninterested, yet visibly agitated. Why did you not inform me that the documents arrived? She inquired softly. I prefer not to discuss it, he murmured. It is completed. She has departed. However, it was not solely Mary who had departed. A fundamental aspect of the family's foundation departed with her. Robyn experienced it. Kody was not merely mourning the dissolution of a marriage. He was descending into a black abyss. Christine, currently residing in Utah, received the news from Truly. Christine had divorced Kody well before Mary, yet the finality of Mary's separation still unsettled her. Mother, Truly stated, raising her phone. It is official. Mary and father. It is concluded. Christine acquiesced, with a deliberate nod. I anticipated its arrival. I did not anticipate it would evoke such feelings. She perched on the veranda of her new residence, observing the sunset. The divorce signified the conclusion of a significant period. Once, the Brown family was resilient, 4 women, 1 husband, and a home brimming with aspirations. However, the cohesion had disintegrated, leaving only remnants of the past. Janelle, being the realistic individual, had her own opinions. I am pleased for Mary, she stated during a video call with Christine. She merits liberation. Kody has not treated her as a wife for several years. Doesn't it evoke sadness in you? Christine inquired. Janelle acquiesced. Certainly. However, at times, one must relinquish the illusion to construct an authentic existence. Janelle had been apart from Kody for some months. Although they had not formally formalized anything, the distance between them had increased with each passing week. Mary's divorce served as a catalyst, prompting everyone to confront the reality. Subsequently, Mary ignited a candle in her bedroom that night. She positioned a journal on her lap, inscribing her reflections. I anticipated this day would devastate me, yet I remain resilient. I devoted everything to Kody, my youth, my trust, my loyalty. In exchange, I received silence, rejection, and solitude. However, now, I have the opportunity to prioritize myself. She gazed out the window at the stars. This is not the conclusion. It is my new commencement. Mary shut the notebook, extinguished the light, and at last, after years of anticipation, slept tranquilly. Kody was seated in his truck, stationed outside Robyn's residence. He gazed at the dashboard, absorbed in contemplation. He desired this divorce, did he not? He often asserted that he was finished with Mary. However, now that it was official, he experienced a profound emptiness in his chest. He retrieved his phone and examined an old photograph, the entire family in Las Vegas, beaming with joy, during the period when they had faith in their aspiration. At that moment, only he and Robyn remained. However, Robyn appeared to be increasingly aloof recently. Kody murmured to himself, have I destroyed everything? The night provided no resolution. Greetings, esteemed viewers. Welcome to my channel. I am Sabrina, and I hope your day is going splendidly. If you like the video, please remember to subscribe to the channel.